Welcome to episode 99
Woo!
of the All the Books Show, the official podcast of the David A. Howe Public Library, where we talk book news, author news, and literary news. I'm Eric Mickles.
Oh, no. You know what I just realized?
What?
We're going to have a Y2K situation on our hands when the podcast rolls over into triple-digit episode numbers.
That crazy...
The computer's not going to know what to do with a third digit.
That conspiracy theorist is Nick Gunning.
Oh, my gosh. I have to go buy batteries and bottled water because this podcast is going to go crazy.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
I got 99 problems, but this podcast ain't one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you remember Get Smart's 99?
No, what?
You never watched Get Smart?
The movie?
Okay.
Or the show?
The
No,
show.
I haven't seen either.
Oh, I loved the show. Nick at Night when I was a kid
Uh-huh.
was the way to go.
Are you still surprised when I tell you I haven't seen a 70s TV show?
I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I just loved Nick at Night.
Yeah.
And I loved 99.
How many episodes were... how long was an episode of Get Smart?
It's a half hour.
Oh, weird. I was weird I didn't watch
It's
it.
like a sitcom. And when I was a kid, they brought it back. Like there's a 90s version where it's the original cast plus Andy Dick plays their son. It did not last.
Yeah.
But I loved it at the time.
Basically,
and I tried
like
to rewatch
anything
it
that
later.
Andy Dick does. I guess outside of
News radio,
yeah.
which News radio is great.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear anything negative about
No,
News
I
radio.
don't have anything negative to say about it.
on this podcast.
Do you think it should have kept going after Phil Hartman died?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Because it never really resolves. It was still like canceled without any resolution. So, which is the perfect segue into our topic today. We're going to be talking about unfinished novels, authors who didn't get a chance to finish their novel before they had to punch their ticket into the great beyond.
And then they came back as Ghost.
So,
With,
yeah.
Because everybody knows a ghost always has an unfinished novel on Earth, and that's why they're haunting
They have
you.
a direct channel to Christopher Tolkien, and they tell him exactly what they want him to write.
Son!
Anyway, we're going to talk about some unfinished novels.
What if
from
the elf loved a dwarf?
years past. But right now, we're going to talk about what's going on in our lives. Books.
Oh,
Eric, what have you been reading? Please don't get into like personal things in your life. Just tell me.
I don't feel so good.
Oh, I know.
I'm sick.
Sorry,
You
man.
can tell it.
I had a little bit of a cold over the weekend.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. Mm-hmm. I think our colds are unrelated, though, because you were gone.
I was gone.
On a vacation,
I was on
and
Long
I got
Island,
sick
yeah.
independently.
Yep.
So maybe it was independently, but it was sympathetically.
Hey, that
like
could
our
be.
brains had
That
a wavelength.
could be.
Like Nick
Wow.
is getting sick.
We're like soulmates.
No,
Is that what you're saying?
no.
I think
No.
the audience heard you
No.
say that. But really, tell me what you've been reading.
I read Moon Cop
hey,
because somebody
Tom
wouldn't
Galds.
stop
Yes.
telling me to read Moon Cop.
And you were
return
kind
it.
of like underwhelmed with Moon Cop.
What? I gave it 3
I
stars.
thought- I know. That's your underwhelm. You probably would have given it 2 stars if you didn't know I'd see it on Goodreads.
Not true.
Really?
2 stars is my I didn't like it.
Oh, okay. You did like it.
So-
I don't know. I thought it was like
I
very
did like it.
profound in its
You
own
should
little
read.
way.
I can't remember that.
I really thought you'd dig this more. The themes are ones that tends to put
No, I really liked it.
on your heartstrings.
But it was, I guess it was just kind of short.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah. Anyway, this is an adult graphic novel in our adult graphic novel section about a moon cop, and it's very simplistic drawings, very simplistic story, but also very moving. So
Yes.
I really liked it. Well, I'm glad that you liked it.
I guess that was it. I didn't find it super moving.
Interesting. Okay, that's all right.
But I mean, I still liked it. Crud. I typed in French comic artist, and I can't find who I'm looking for.
Tom Gauld is his name.
No, this is... There's another comic.
Oh, a different.
Yes.
Okay.
And
right.
it made me think you would like it, and I can't remember what it is. Oh, I bet I didn't Goodreads it. It's he writes like, I think they're like birds.
Oh, okay.
They're in France. One's a zombie comic, and it's just kind of sad because he meets a woman.
Fans, if anybody knows what Eric's talking about,
Yeah.
you can hit us
what's
up
her-
on Twitter
what's
at
his
All the Book
name?
Show. It's all right.
It's one word. It's a one-word name. It's
Okay.
gonna drive me crazy.
All right. Is that it?
No, I read
Okay.
Transmetropolitan,
a
volume
graphic?
4.
Okay.
Yeah, so volume 3 and 4. This is by Warren Ellis. This is about the columnist who has to go back into the crazy futuristic city. It's
Okay.
depressing and gross. It's a great comic. And
So-
3 and 4 were political
Uh-huh.
because there's an election happening, and he has to like decide which candidate he's gonna back. And it's like, this was written in like 99.
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy topical. Like still.
Yeah, I can see
like
that.
both it's like the same thing. It's
Weird.
life is just a flat circle. That's what True Detective taught us.
Deep.
So,
So do you recommend the series then?
Yeah, I recommend Transmetropolitan
Who do you
people.
recommend it to? Like,
Well,
what?
not people who can't handle a very, I don't know. It's an offensive style of humor.
Okay.
I guess
Like crude?
it is crude
Okay.
a lot of times. It's British.
Okay.
And I read Batman Volume 10, Epilogue. This
Okay.
is the last Batman comic graphic novel collection of Scott Snyder's New 52 run.
Oh.
So,
Well, now he's already moved on to All-Star Batman.
not
and
great.
Rebirth, so.
not great.
Oh.
It's just a
I
collection.
don't think that series never, after when Court of Owls just like fluttered out, I never really got back into it.
Oh.
Did you like the other ones? It
Yeah.
seems like you've been underwhelmed.
What? No, Death of the Families.
I know
I
you
consider
like-
Death,
you like
of,
Death of the Family,
Yeah,
yeah.
Volume 3.
Yeah.
That's like a modern Batman classic
Yeah.
now. And I did like Zero Year. Both volumes. But
Do
after
we have this whole run in our collection?
we have the first five.
First
but
five,
it's
okay.
it's in the whole system. Other libraries have the rest
Okay.
of it.
That's the beauty of our system. You can borrow it from any
Yeah.
library. Just come here, we'll hook you up.
I just felt like after Zero Year, it lost direction and really, I mean,
I thought prior to Zero Year,
yeah,
it lost direction.
that's because you didn't read Death of the Family,
Yeah.
which is so good.
Well, that's Death of the Family is not my thing. I get that it's like good.
Yeah.
It's just not one that like interests me.
But this 10 being the epilogue, it's just a collection of like issues that weren't collected
Oh,
before, so it's not really like anything.
that's lame.
So I found it very, very boring. And
Yeah,
all
I
like that.
bet.
But I'm done with it now, and now I can go read other Batman stuff.
Are you going to follow Scott Snyder's All-Star Batman?
I mean, I'll just read any Batman comics.
Any Batman put
He's
before you,
the
okay.
second most read graphic novel on my Goodreads.
Batman?
Yeah,
First being,
the X-Men.
I figured.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though to be fair to the X-Men, it says I've read 186 graphic novels of the X-Men, but that's not including all the single issues that I can't
Yeah.
count.
Yeah.
So I would have read much more than that.
Yeah.
Batman, I have read 119
Wow.
graphic novels, and
weird
that
brags.
is actually accurate.
Okay.
Because any of the single issues I read were collected, and I
Okay.
added them to that.
Cool.
So, yeah, man. And that's it. I haven't picked up the book, the Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl.
Oh, yeah.
Because I haven't been feeling great.
Yeah. Well, you got a couple weeks. We're doing that as a book club,
yeah.
folks. Remember, on the
Yeah, it
24th.
seemed like a lot of people were interested in it when we talked about it at your book club.
Yeah, we did it. We did it at the Woman in Cabin 12. We talked about this book club a lot, but you can join us to discuss Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews on July 24th at 6 o'clock. Did we say?
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
Okay. Yep. So that's it. Couple
Yeah.
of graphics. All right.
Oh,
no problem. No judgment.
I saw Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh, okay. Don't spoil it for me. But were you happy with it? Did
Yeah,
you like it?
I did like it. I think it's the first time a Spider-Man movie has happened that isn't necessarily in the shadow of the original Spider-Man movies, specifically
Well,
Spider-Man and Spider-Man
There's
2.
only been 2 since then.
No, there's Spider-Man 3.
Oh, you're counting Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're right. But yes, I feel like the Amazing Spider-Man movies never stood completely separate from them. I felt
They were
it
just
tried
all
to,
prelude. I think if they ever would have done what they set out to do, it might have worked, but they didn't.
maybe.
Wasted too much time.
I just think, and it was like too soon and everything. Whereas this
yeah.
one, it's different enough. The tone is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it definitely, it's a different direction.
Okay.
So it's
Cool.
It's nice.
All right.
Uh,
Well, I look forward to watching it.
but there's nothing in it that had me like, oh my gosh, like the Spider-Man 2 train scene.
Okay.
Or you remember the crane
Yeah.
rescue in
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 where he has to save Gwen Stacy from a falling crane?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Nothing really
like
that
that.
great.
Okay.
So it's all very like in-house style
Okay.
of the Marvel Studios.
Yeah, well.
But
Yeah.
so
Okay.
okay.
All right. Well,
right.
I'm.
Hey, don't be
I'm
sad.
still
Don't be sad.
okay.
There'll be more Spider-Man movies.
I know.
For the rest of your life.
More than I could ever.
There'll be more
want.
Spider-Man for the rest of your life.
I'm still reading Scott.
Westy's been cast as Spider-Man.
Okay. I'm still reading Scott Turo's testimony.
Okay.
And I like it, but it's one of those books where I feel like I sit down and read it for an hour and I'm like 5 pages along. It's not moving, and I'm getting to a point where I'm getting a little impatient with it, and I want it to pick up the pace a little bit. I like the writing, and I like the book so far. I'm just hitting that point where I need to like get over the hump and things need to start cooking a little bit more than they are. So
Okay.
I'm reserving judgment. I also started reading Split Second by David Baldacci. It's the first of his King and Maxwell books. This is the farthest I've ever gotten into a David Baldacci book. I've picked up other ones before and just they didn't do it for me.
Right.
This one I'm liking. All right. I watched a little bit of that TNT show, King and Maxwell, and it's
I haven't heard of that.
What's his name? John Tenney, like from The Closer, is King, and Rebecca Romaine is Maxwell.
Rebecca Romaine's in it?
Yeah, so I sort of like have them in my heads as I'm reading this book. But yeah, I'm liking it so far. This is for the Page Turners book club. It's our next book club thing. So it's going pretty good so far.
If one actress could have like called me as a teenager and said, "Hey, do you just want to run away and hide from the rest of the world and live with me for the rest of your life?"
Yeah.
It was Rebecca Romaine.
Rebecca Romaine.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think she was still Rebecca Romaine Stamos, though, so I imagine she was also trying to get away from John Stamos.
From John Stamos, sure.
So, yeah.
Sure. I've been watching the later seasons of ER, which star John Stamos. So,
And?
yeah.
You wouldn't run away from John Stamos.
I miss the early years. Would I run away with John Stamos?
No, you wouldn't
Probably
run
not.
away from John Stamos.
Me? No,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so. What else? I guess I read a couple of graphic novels. I read Superman Volume 5, part of the New 52 thing.
That series has never started for me.
And the thing
Wait,
is-
is that the one that's... Was that the one that, I don't want to say George Perez.
No. Well, yes, he started the run.
He started it
Yeah.
and then left.
Yeah.
Okay, because I did like his first...
Yeah, but
All right.
it never goes back to that style. The little internal...
New 52's a mess.
I know. The little internal story was pretty good, but they included like some of the Krypton Returns, some of the Doomed crossovers, and so it just made it a complete nonsense book. I just want to go and shake DC Comics and be like, stop collecting things in a stupid way. I also read Shea Fontana's Finals Crisis, that junior graphic novel.
Oh,
superhero
yeah, the
series.
one, the superhero girls
Yeah.
or superhero high.
Yeah, which I like.
So-
I don't read a lot of like that level graphics.
Teen
in that
Katana,
one.
Teen Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, she was just. I talked to her at the conference in
Teen
Chicago.
Katana?
No,
Oh.
the author, and she just was interesting and had an interesting take on it. So it made me want to revisit those books. So I've been
Okay.
enjoying those. So that's it for me now. Like I said, Baldacci's Split Second is okay so far.
Right.
And I've already finished with the Testament, but we're coming up on that next week for the book club. So if you want to join us talking about the Testament, that's at 3:30 on July 18th, John Grisham. That goes really well with the theme of the summer reading program.
It's
So
really warm in this
pretty good.
office.
You know, I had to turn off the air conditioning so people can hear us
Yeah, but was it on before we got here?
just for a few minutes.
I'm going to take off this
Yeah.
shirt.
In other book news, National Book Awards tweeted out this news story that I found really interesting. The story appeared originally on publishersweekly.com.
Okay.
And Maurice Sendak, you know Maurice Sendak of Where the Wild Things Are?
Yes,
And,
I sure do.
yeah. I know him, I guess, more from like...
Is this going to end with him being dead?
He is definitely dead.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
He's been gone for a while.
He has been.
Okay.
Yeah. I always loved the Little Bear books. Did you ever read Little Bear?
Yeah, I love Little Bear.
Yeah. Where the Wild Things Are never really did anything for me. I'm not really a fan of that book.
Yeah. You've never really been a child, though.
Oh, okay. Anyway, when they were going through his papers, they found a manuscript.
Oh, no. We've been here before.
Although this seems legit. They found a manuscript and they sent it to Arthur Yorings, who was a longtime collaborator of Sendak, and was like, "Do you know what this is?" And it turns out that Maurice Sendak in the 90s had created a series of illustrations to go with a London Symphony Orchestra performance of an opera that's based on a Czech nursery rhyme that's kind of like a nonsensical Alice in Wonderland sort of thing. So then it just kind of sat there for a while, and somebody asked if they could use them again, and he kind of pulled them out, and then he and Arthur Yorings got to talking and saying, you know, these illustrations are all done. We should just make a book. So they made a book, and then they both got going on other projects and just totally forgot about it and never really did anything with it. So Arthur Yorings, who is still alive, is like, yes, let's publish it. I'm glad you found it. So there's going to be a new Maurice Sendak book coming out. So I think a lot of parents will be excited about that because his books are still, and wouldn't you say? I mean, still incredibly popular.
Yeah.
Going
Where the
on.
Wild Things Are? It's always popular.
Yeah. But not just that. I mean, the others as well. But I'm trying to find the title here. It's Presto and Zesto in Limbo Land, coming out in fall of 2018. So if you're a Maurice Sendak fan, lamenting the fact that you've seen them all,
Yeah.
Here's a new one for you.
I think they also found one where Max from Where the Wild Things Are gets recruited to go on a paleontology expedition.
Really?
Yeah. But then it turns out he meets like Wild Bill.
Oh,
was Wild Bill a person?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And Sherry Crichton found this.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
Pretty good. Pretty good.
It's called Where the Wild Dinosaur Things Are.
Oh, I like it. It's a very subtle title.
Yeah.
Well, I guess now let's just talk about book news.
Yeah.
What's coming up in the world?
You don't have to be so sad about it, man.
No, sorry. I'll try to perk up.
Yeah.
So let me tell you.
Coffee?
Yeah, it's right here.
What's in it?
Let me tell you about some advance notices.
Okay.
So, Eric, I think you've read the previous 27 books in the series.
Okay. I'm just going to go blow my nose away from the mic while you do this joke.
The Sisterhood series by Fern Michaels.
Is it Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants?
No, just Sisterhood.
No.
Okay.
And also, I haven't read those
Yes,
either.
you have. Fern Michaels' Need to Know, book 28 in her Sisterhood series, a loose series. The Sisterhood, a group of women from all walks of life bound by friendship and a quest for justice, armed with vast resources, top-notch expertise, and a loyal network of allies around the globe. The Sisterhood will not rest until every wrong is made right. That sounds kind of intense, actually, in hindsight. If you've been following the Sisterhood series or just a fan of Fern Michaels and good old fiction, look no further than August, and it will be here in the shelves of the David A. Howe Public Library.
Oh, there they are. You keep your tissues so far away.
Oh, sorry.
I only now see them. I had to use a paper towel on my nose like sandpaper.
James Patterson and
You've never read a single Fern Michaels?
I haven't.
Even for like a book club?
No, I haven't.
No, but they're like cozy mysteries.
No, they're not cozy. Well, they're cozy, but they're not mysteries.
Oh, okay.
Although that sounded a little bit more.
Yeah.
Usually, Fern Michaels books are just about two like women in their 60s, like being friends and having coffee on wicker furniture. You know.
Okay. So she hasn't written any contemporary classics, if you will.
Anyway, James Patterson and Maxine Pietro. I couldn't stop them if I tried, but they're back at it with a bookshot. This is book number 16 and a half of the Women's Murder Club. So a little Women's Murder Club bookshot.
I'm sure it'll just end up in book 17 of the Women's Murder Club.
Probably. It's called The Medical Examiner.
Oh, well, that's helpful.
2 bodies arrived at the morgue. One was still breathing.
Sorry, that was
a woman checks into a hotel and entertains a man who is not her husband. Ooh. A shooter kills the lover and wounds the millionairess, leaving her for dead. Is it the perfect case for the Women's Murder Club?
Is it?
Or just the most twisted?
I don't know what kind of cases the murder club normally
It could be one or the other. Just any case.
Then...
I've actually read one of these. I read book 14 randomly, and it was not great.
Oh.
My wife tried to read another one of the Women's Murder Club bookshots. Also not a fan.
Right.
So it's really, I think it's Maxine Pietro. Steve agrees. We're going to be talking about James Patterson next time Steve's in town in a couple of weeks. So
okay.
Lisa Scottoline coming
Did
out with a new
one. Did you ever call him back?
No, I didn't.
You got to call him back.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, no problem.
Rosato and D'Annunzio, book number 5, Exposed, coming out in August. A battle for justice pits partner against partner. Mary D'Annunzio wants to represent her old friend Simon Pensiera, a sales rep who was wrongly fired by his company, but her partner, Benny Rosato, represents the parent company. When she confronts Mary, explaining this is a conflict of interest, an epic battle of wills and legal strategy between the two ensues, ripping the law firm apart, forcing everyone to take sides and turning friends against friend. Sometimes loyalty can be lethal. Man, that sounds boring. Doesn't that sound bad?
It does.
That sounds really bad.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Oh, okay, all right. That's it for standard print. I pulled one large print here that I wanted to tell you about specifically by Peter.
I can't handle any more joke titles for me.
Peter Dawson.
Okay.
Beyond Fort North. This is a Western. And this is new. This is new to print.
Okay.
Captain Dan Gentry did nothing to defend himself at the court-martial held following the massacre of all but himself and Sergeant Tim McCune, as well as the loss of a herd of 60 remounts to Apache on the way back to Fort North from Fort Stark. 4 weeks later, he's escorted to the gate, his uniform in tatters, his saber broken in two, disgraced and scorned by nearly all the fort in Elk Bend, the town below Fort North. Just in case you're wondering where.
Yeah, I was where I couldn't.
Elk Bend is home base for Caleb Ash, a part-time civilian Army scout and liveryman who sells horses to the Army at a huge profit. Gentry is convinced that the massacre of his men and the loss of the horses can be laid at Ash's doorstep, but he has no proof.
Okay.
Coming out in August in
Good.
large print. You going to read any of those?
No.
No, I'm not going to read any of those either.
Sorry. When do you think you're going to have to read it for Michaels?
You're
You're going to say never, but I think there is an ever. that you will have
I
to
guess
read.
I might read one of her Christmas books at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't imagine putting it on a book club.
Yeah, unless your book club changes.
Unless my book club changes. Unless
Yeah.
I do like cozy, inspirational,
Yeah.
gal pals
Yeah.
book club.
Okay.
What do you have on the old New York Times bestseller list? What's topping the charts today, Mon Frere?
Well, let me tell you.
Oh,
I'm going
you
to
have
tell
to look
you.
it up. You have to look it up.
No,
right now.
if you're
It's fine.
assuming that
I
I
understand.
forgot that I do this every week,
Yeah,
how dare you, sir?
I was assuming that.
How dare you? Okay, just opening up the
All right.
New York Times.
Well, while Eric's doing that, I'll just remind everybody that this Friday we're celebrating the 80th anniversary of the David A. Howe Public Library with a special evening of one-act shows. Our friends at the Valley Theater are helping us to recreate a night of theater that was originally staged in the auditorium in July of 1937. So we'll be doing 3 one-act plays, same ones that were performed 80 years ago. And Brian Hildreth, former director here, Michelle Lavoie, former director here, and I are going to introduce each one. Eric's directing one. Sarah Badger of Genesee Dance Theater is directing one, and I'm going to be in one. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you come and join us this weekend, Friday at 7:00 for that.
Yeah, directing has been hard because the cast I have, there are a lot of divas.
Okay.
A lot of high personalities.
Sure.
Demanding personalities.
I don't want you to embarrass yourself, but your cast is mostly just me and my wife.
Oh, yeah.
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 Okay, so you probably want to take back what you said.
Well,
about...
do you remember the diva character in Phantom of the Opera?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Minnie Driver?
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine 2 of them.
Okay. And that's...
And they're doing Reader's Theater, and I'm directing it.
Huh. Okay, I remember it differently, but
okay.
Agree to disagree.
I remember you complaining and me saying, does the diva demand it? And you saying, the diva does.
Well,
and then,
in that situation,
I was taken away by a phantom, and he sung to me the music of the night.
Did he?
It was actually a really nice evening. I can't remember the last time I've had such a nice evening.
Yeah, that's
Let's
great.
move on, though.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's start with some young adult hardcover. I'm sorry I made it seem so extreme.
Yeah,
This is the top 10.
You did.
Young adult. Do you know on the New York Times bestsellers list for young adult, they don't have anything below 10
Really
on their list.
interesting.
Yeah. So, number 10. Is this the right date? What's the
Yeah.
day? Oh, this is the right date. All right, number 10, which is new this week. It's called Now I Rise by Kirsten White. It's not Kristen. There's no R there, Nick.
Okay.
Kirsten
White.
Kirsten, yeah. So this, I don't know if you remember me ever talking about And I Darken, which was a story about Vlad the Impaler, but it's a female Vlad the Impaler.
Yes.
Sequel, Now I Rise.
Squeakquel.
That's, you have to, when you decide if something is a squeakquel or
squeakquel,
not,
yeah.
you have to ask, does this have chipmunks in it? Yes or no?
Did that first one about Vlad the Impaler?
No.
So this is just a standard sequel.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
Number 9 on the young adult hardcover, Alex and Eliza by Melissa De La Cruz. Mm-hmm. So,
Yep.
you know about Alex and Eliza.
Sure.
Alexander Hamilton
Yeah.
and Eliza.
A young Alex Trebek,
Yep.
starting out his youth in Canada
Eliza Dushku.
with Eliza Dushku, star of Joss Whedon's The Dollhouse.
Yep. I don't
It's
know.
the best I could do. I
Really?
can't.
She was in Buffy.
Buffy, okay.
She was in a lot of, like, not great action movies in the early aughts, I believe.
Played Catwoman, I believe, in the Batman Year One animated movie.
Did she?
I'm pretty sure.
All right, number 8, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. Mackenzie Lee, I believe, is the author of Simon and the Homo Sapien
Oh, yeah.
Agenda.
Okay.
So this is romance and racism in a
Yeah.
misbegotten 18th century grand tour. Number
Something for everyone.
Number 7, Midnight Jewel by Rochelle Mead.
Mm-hmm.
This is the sequel to Glittering Court, same author as the Vampire Academy series.
All that glitters is gold.
Yeah. Hey, we can't do any New York Times bestsellers list without talking about this guy. Number 6, Crazy House by James Patterson.
Oh, it's a crazy
and
house.
Gabriel Chabanat.
Yeah.
The Wrong Twins on Death Row.
Look out.
I would just be like, guys, I'm...
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be like if Lindsay Lohan was going to star in The Parent Trap now.
Oh,
It would be about that.
dark. Number 5. Wow, that's 2 episodes in a row.
That's true, yeah.
Lindsay Lohan's really
All right.
taking a beating in these.
Sorry.
Number 5, One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus.
I don't know what you're implying, sir.
Look, Nick, one of us is lying.
Okay, agreed.
Oh, no. For 5 students...
Wait a minute. My twin's on death row.
For 5 students, a detour into detention ends in murder? Jeez. I know that's really extreme. Yeah, that's how it feels.
Yeah, it does.
Number 4, Once and For All by Sarah Dessen. Sarah Dessen is a very popular... I believe she writes romance in the young adult section. She wrote Saint Anything. That was her last book. Number 3, Lord of Shadow by Cassandra Clare.
Oh.
Caught between the fairy courts and the clave laws. What do you do when you're trapped between fairy courts and clave laws? What do you do?
If I had a nickel for every time I was there.
You hope that your twin is the one on death row.
I do. I always hope that.
Number 2, Generation 1 by Pittacus Lore. Hey, good news. He's not done. The guard creates an academy to train teenagers with superpowers. Ugh.
Oh, good.
Number 1, The Hate You Give. This has been here for 18 weeks. This is by Angie Thompson. So this is a 16-year-old girl sees a police officer kill her friend. So this has been very topical and very popular. It has checked out quite a bit here and has been on the New York Times bestsellers list for a long time.
Pretty sweet.
What?
I don't know.
What was that?
It's just a weird accent. Did you like it?
Were you doing like a strong bad?
No, it was I don't know, it was SNL. So we were talking about SNL earlier.
We were?
Got stuck in my head, yeah, before the show.
We did?
No, last episode. I remember now.
Oh, man.
It was that episode where we were talking about Stuart saves his family and it's Pat and all that.
Okay.
It got stuck in my head.
Okay, let's... Number 10 on the New York Times bestsellers list.
Hey, I love that Mickey Mouse t-shirt you're wearing, by the way.
Oh, I am wearing a Mickey Mouse t-shirt.
I
forgot. So this is hardcover fiction, so adult hardcover fiction.
Look out.
But if kids want to read it, that's fine.
Yeah.
Adults, you want to read young adult, that's fine too. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
Breaking down barriers. Number 10, Come Sundown by Nora Roberts. So, you going to read it?
Come Sundown by Nora Roberts?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Number 9, Tom Clancy, Point of Contact.
I lived it.
By Mike Madden. What?
I lived it.
Point of Contact?
Nora Roberts Before Sundown.
Years after she was kidnapped, a woman returns to her family's Montana ranch.
Yeah.
You lived that.
I worked on the ranch, so.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Got most of it secondhand.
Well, the Tom the Tom Clancy book, Jack Ryan Jr. Helps thwart. Help me here.
I'm not seeing the word.
Thwart. I've thwarted you.
Stop saying that.
Just say it.
Thwart?
Thwart. I'm sick.
I wish everybody could see you just looking me directly in the eye saying, thwart? Thwart? Thwart?
Well, Jack Ryan helps stop a global financial crisis.
I thought a wizard had turned you into a frog, and you were transforming. Thwart?
So that's Jack Ryan Jr. I guess he deals with like financial crises now.
Oh,
because he doesn't have to. Like his dad took out like terrorists, I think.
He did. Yeah, he was the president for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't have to tell me because I lived it.
Number 8, The Silent Corner by Dean Koontz.
Oh.
It's down from where it was last week. Do you think it's going to stay long, being a Dean Koontz?
Man, I'll never bet against Dean Koontz.
Bean Dean
Koontz. That's what we called him back in high school.
Yeah, back on the ranch in Montana.
The ranch.
Well, right?
Me and Nora Roberts.
Koontz. Yeah. Why do you call him Bean Dean?
Yeah.
Well, you see how he's eating a can of beans?
Yep.
That's about it.
Classic Bean Dean.
Number 7, Into the Water by Paula Hawkins.
Yeah, I remember that.
She's done it again. When are you going to read this?
She's done it again. Sometime.
Are you saving it for a book club, or are you going to read it before that?
No, I'll probably pick it up.
Okay.
I'm nice ahead in my book club, so once I get out of the Scott Turow book, I can just do whatever I want. I have absolute freedom.
Number 6, The Identicals by Ellen Hildebrand.
Is this about were the wrong twins in the on death row?
No. Complications in the lives of identical twins who were raised separately by divorced parents.
And the wrong one gets put in
on Nantucket and a Martha's Vineyard. No, it's two people with a sun umbrella walking to the ocean on a beach.
Wow. That must be like a before situation, before the other one got
Number
framed.
5, new this week, 7 Stones to Stand or Fall. 7 stones to rule them all. A collection of Outlander short fiction by Diana Gabaldon. Gabaldon is one of the most fun names to say.
Gabaldon.
Gabaldon. Sounds like like a turkey would say it.
That's
as they're
a turkey.
chasing him. Like, come here, turkey. And it's like, Gabaldon, Gabaldon.
That's a good Thanksgiving joke to tell your mom.
Gabaldon is the turkey Pokemon.
Who's a turkey's favorite author? Diana Gabaldon.
Number 4.
Hey, true story though. Turkeys are so stupid.
What?
Turkeys are just so stupid.
Okay.
They're stupid animals.
Well, I mean, yeah, they got tiny brains.
Yeah. That's all.
Okay. I mean, we just did a whole bit about Gabaldon, so we're not much higher on the brain chart.
Yeah, but we knew it was stupid. Turkeys would have been like, that is high comedy. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Gabaldon.
Number 4. I'm a little surprised this is only at number 4.
I'm a little surprised that you're surprised.
So number 4, The Duchess. Duchess, by Danielle Steele. So.
This is where the Duchess tries to...
19th century British duke's daughter, disinherited by her half-brothers, flees to Paris to make a new life.
And she gets put on death row in his place.
Didn't she just write a book called The Duchess?
Look, don't question Danielle Steele.
Duchess.
Duchess,
Yeah. Well, I thought she just had one.
What's this one called?
Oh, maybe it was the Duke's Mistress or something. The Mistress is what I was thinking of.
The Duke's Mistress.
All right, so yeah, this is just the Duchess. So Danielle Steele charting at number 4 on her new this week. How do you feel about that?
She used to be number 1.
Yeah, well, number 3, Use of Force by Brad Thor.
Oh, boy.
Are you surprised that Brad Thor?
I am surprised that Brad Thor's up there. I'm surprised that people are still publishing Brad Thor's books.
The counterterrorism operative Scott Havarath is called in when a missing terrorism suspect drowns off an Italian coast.
Found him.
Oh, okay. Number 2, Murder Games by James Patterson and Howard Ruffin.
What are you going to do?
An expert on serial murder becomes involved in the hunt for a New York serial killer.
I'm actually kind of fascinated about this.
That's somebody who's like an expert on serial killers would then hunt a serial killer?
The whole like James Patterson, I guess we should save it for a James Patterson podcast, but I'm really puzzled by the fact that like this is not, it doesn't seem to have diluted his appeal one single bit.
Yeah.
The fact that the quality's dropped and it's a different co-author every single time.
Yeah.
They come out bi-weekly now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to matter. Like they still...
You have the same issue with Marvel movies.
It's true.
You just don't get
But
it.
I guess I just don't understand how it hasn't... I don't know. It just... You know what I mean? It's just... It's a completely unique phenomenon like in the publishing world. I can't think of another situation even close to this. I mean, Cussler puts out a lot of books with co-authors. It's not that co-authors are new. It's just...
Yeah.
The rate and that it's across all genres. I mean, he has a picture book coming out now.
Yeah.
He's writing with Bill Clinton.
Yeah, I just read it, the young adult one,
Doesn't make
man.
any sense.
Yeah.
I don't get it. What do you think it is?
Just the name. Quick read.
You think that's it? It just you just
quick...
know exactly what you're going to get?
Yeah.
It's just going to be a fun...
Yeah, man. It's like Little Caesars. Everybody... People have to be honest and admit that Little Caesars is the worst. It is not good pizza, but it's $5, and you'll get it and then get out.
Yeah.
That's just it. James Patterson is the Little Caesars of books.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I think both parties would be okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, Little Caesars like, you think we're just like James Patterson? Yeah. Oh, Little like, Caesars and Jimmy's Pizzeria presents a large cheese with...
I'll have the James Patterson, please.
Yeah.
All right, sorry to derail your list. What else you
got? Number 1, Camino Island by John Grisham. So John Grisham is still number 1 against Danielle Steele, Brad Thor, and James Patterson.
And what's surprising about that is that he's changed his schedule, too, because Whistler just came out not even 6 months ago, and he usually doesn't do that. Yeah. So to have 2 big high-profile releases that close together, and very successfully, so good for you, Grish.
So you think Danielle Steele should know? Do you think if Camino Island was? I mean, she would only be number 3.
I think with Danielle Steele, I don't think she's picking up a lot of new fans.
Oh,
I think Grisham still
that
has
might be it. Like I think
enough clout to kind of still grab some people.
I think James Patterson is becoming so synonymous that maybe he is picking up new fans.
Yeah.
Is all. Because, I mean, it doesn't, like, with
all
they're
these... everywhere. I mean, on our advanced notices, I always have to, like, skip around, so I'm not just saying James Patterson books, you know? And, I mean, they're, like we said, they're across all genres. They're just, you can't avoid them.
Yeah, man.
So... I also think that I think Danielle Steele.
Here's real quick. We've had there's 9 volumes of the Maximum Ride graphic novel.
Yeah.
And there's a book series, and we've had the book series, and the book series never really checks out that much. The graphic novels, in my 2 years or almost 3 years having been here, they've done fine. I'll always see like maybe one checks out like every couple of months. It's been slow. And then all of a sudden, in the last 2 months, everybody has been trying to read them. These James Patterson Maximum Ride graphic novels.
There's no.
I cannot pinpoint what's going on, and it's not the books. It's not translating to the books. It's just these graphics. But like people coming in, like, oh, is there more? And Volume 10 doesn't come out until February next year.
Oh, I didn't realize it was still a current series.
9 came out in 2015.
Oh, okay.
10 comes out in 2018.
Oh, okay.
So
it's definitely still
current.
Yeah. Is it still adapting existing books, or have the?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
But it's just. So another element of the James Patterson mystery.
Yeah.
Why all of a sudden are these Maximum Rides super
Yeah.
popular?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Interesting that he hasn't like tried to branch out into TV and stuff. I mean, the Women's Murder Club was a show
he's
for
got
like a season.
Zoo
That's
has
right,
2 seasons.
Zoo. That's right. Zoo is still out. Yeah. Yeah, and that just got a sequel and a book shot. Huh. Interesting.
Do you think if we had like a Lex Luthor like enemy of the show,
Yeah.
it would be James Patterson? Like if anyone was trying to shut us down, it would be Jimmy P.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But we give him a lot of free air.
Yeah, but we also talk about how bad he is.
But it doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah.
Nobody would deny that the quality's dropped. People just don't care. So,
Okay.
a little different. Anyway, nonfiction?
It's all politics. I can't do it. It's killing me, man.
All right.
If you're looking for political nonfiction, every new book, every
All right.
new nonfiction that comes out is that. So
All right. I respect your decision.
That's why I switched to young adult.
That's fine. We'll pop in and check the nonfiction one in the coming weeks.
And you know what's great though?
Tell me.
It's politics for all flavors.
Yeah.
If you're far right, if you're far left,
Yeah.
whatever hateful bile you have built inside of you, there's a book for you. So
Equal opportunity. That's
yes,
really, it's beautiful.
so
It's a beautiful thing.
all sides can just scream and yell at each other, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Hey, how's the summer reading program going for you, buddy?
Great.
It seems like it is.
Yeah, it was
No,
fun.
I'm asking you
Yeah.
a real question. I want to talk about the summer reading program for just a
Good.
quick
It's been
minute.
going good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like you've had a lot of like attendance across the board.
Yeah.
As far as like different
Beauty. We
programs
showed
and
Beauty and the
things.
Beast, and even though everybody and their mother saw that when it
Yeah.
was in theaters, we still had a pretty good crowd.
Yeah.
For showing
About
it.
45. That's
Yeah.
a great crowd.
Yeah. And then, yeah, it's just been, I have more teen signups this year. It has been still kind of pulling teeth. Like, do you want to sign up for the
Yeah.
teen summer reading program? And then I have to be like, all you're doing right now is checking out a book. That's all you have to do the
I
teen
know.
program.
That's true. That's
and they're
true
like,
across
no,
the
thanks.
board.
I'm like, literally, you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're doing it right now.
I know. In being here right now, I know it's like that with the adult summer reading program too. People always think like, "Oh no, I just want to read what I want to read." And I'm like, "But that's the beauty of it. That's
Yes.
what you do."
Yeah. Last week, so last week's prize, I had like 3 movies:
Yeah.
Ender's Game, Maze Runner, and The Fifth Wave as a prize. And then
Oof.
to go, yes, well, some of them are good.
No, yeah, it's a good.
Some of them.
It's a good prize.
And then the other prize
I'd give it to Maze Runner out of
was-
those 3. Coloring
we had
books.
2 adult 2 adult coloring books, a Wonder Woman collection and a Guardians of the Galaxy one,
Mm-hmm.
and they did pretty well. The DVDs had the most.
Nice.
So I was surprised. The first week, I can't remember what the second prize was, but one was like a Lego Minecraft set. I was
Okay.
like, teens aren't really gonna like care too much because it's Lego and Minecraft.
Yeah.
But it had like everybody was putting it in for that. Mm-hmm. So and I had the Archie graphic novels. That's what it
pretty
was. But people wanted the Legos. I was surprised. All across the board, all ages, all genders, just Lego Minecraft.
Wanted
Please.
the Legos.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
That's cool. Mine is the adult summer program is going good. We've had a lot of people I think are really competing for our grand prize, which is nice.
Yeah.
I've heard a few people saying like they're trying to read all the different genres so
Yeah.
they can get as many entry points as they can to get the. We're giving away a Nook.
Yes.
We should mention too that all of the summer reading program is sponsored by the Friends of the Library, so it's incredibly generous of them to.
Thank
to
you
make
for
that
being
happen
a
for us.
friend
Yes, absolutely
of the library.
But, the last 2 weeks in a row, we've had the highest participation in the adult summer reading program that we've had in years.
Nice.
So, and same with children, same with young adult. Like we're just high across the board. So
Killing it.
it's encouraging. It's exciting. Do you have what's your next program?
What's
You have
today?
anything coming up? It's Tuesday.
We open up our teen loft.
Okay.
But we also try to like say it's like a game day. Like we have all our board games and we have and the kids come to play cards, but we also have our laptops and iPads and everything. So like kids could just come and hang out as well. So there's games to play, but if you also just want to, and then tomorrow's Teen Anime Club. Thursday we're doing a mug art class.
Oh, that's cool.
So
I've done that with the adult craft class before.
Yeah, I did it at Teen Anime Club and the kids liked it.
Yeah, it's a simple craft.
Some really good stuff, yeah.
It's simple, but they turn out really well.
Yes.
So that's cool. I've got a few. I mean, of course, the One Act Plays is the big thing this weekend. But the book club is doing The Testament by John Grisham, which is Tuesday the 18th at 3:30. Deb Mercereau, local author who wrote the book Geronimo. We have a couple copies in the collection that have been popular.
Say again?
Deb Geronimo. Yeah. Anyway, she's coming to do a talk on Tuesday the 18th as well. At 6 o'clock, she'll be in the Monday Club room. She'll have copies of her book. So
right.
She's just a nice, interesting lady. And her process, like how she got the book written and everything, is it's just fun to hear about. So I think people would enjoy that.
Right.
And then the next day, the 19th, we're doing a wreath-making class at 2 o'clock. So a lot of good stuff. Wreath, yeah.
Summer wreaths?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just like hang on your front door or whatever.
Yep.
A lot of fun stuff beyond that, but we won't dig too deep into it now. Just wanted to mention the summer reading program is in full swing, and we have programs for all ages. So bring the family down. Tonight, actually, we're doing a 3D. Today is Tuesday the 11th when we're recording. We're doing a 3D printer class at 6 o'clock in the evening, so you can come check out our 3D printer. Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But let's move on to our main segment today.
You explain this, because Nick has the lead on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go hang out with some of those tissues for a second.
Okay. All right. I will. So we've been talking recently. It seems like there's been a lot of posthumous releases and things coming out where other authors took over and completed things that had been sitting on shelves for a while. So we wanted to talk today about some of the great unfinished novels and how they got completed so that we have them and can read them. So we're going to be pulling from a list that was originally found on shortlist.com. We're going to be covering about 10 unfinished novels. Do you want to take the first one? Because I think you had some insight on this one.
I don't have insight on it.
Okay.
So number one on this list. And who's doing this list? It's just short list.
Short list, yeah.
It's The Mystery of Edwin Drood. Mm-hmm. So when he died,
Charles
age 58,
Dickens.
Yeah. He was halfway through The Mystery of Edwin Drood. Somebody finished it. But no, the only thing I had is Dan Simmons, who wrote Hyperion.
Yeah.
I almost read one of his books just called Drood, and it's just one of his weird sci-fi mystery psychologicalness where it's like somebody's being hunted by the character Drood.
Oh, okay.
And it relates to like what happened to Charles Dickens or the mystery of the book and everything. So that's the only thing I connected to. Like people like find the idea of the mystery of Edward Drood compelling enough that they write stuff about it.
Like, yeah. Well, I read a book. It was a sci-fi book, and it was a mystery. And one of the aspects of it was there was like a missing journal they were trying to find, and the lead character had a collection of Dickens books,
right?
Like nice leather bound, and part of the resolution was that the detective or whatever, the person in the role of the detective, saw Drood and realized it was thick like the others, and remembered that it was an unfinished book, and so the what he was looking for was hidden inside. Right. So it was a clever use of it. But I mean, I think this is always the one that people think of when they think of unfinished books. It seems to be the one that comes to mind, and I think that's because it was a compelling mystery, and just wasn't resolved. And it wasn't a situation where like people just looked at his notes and were like, oh, that's what he was thinking. So any attempts to fill it out are just guessing, so you have to kind of like craft the ending to go with what's already written without knowing like where it was going. So there's been a lot of different attempts to sort of finish that. I see here it was a BBC adaptation, but it's because it's a mystery, it just lends itself to that so well. Another on the list here, we have the original of Laura by Vladimir Nabokov. Shortlist says, like many authors, feted Russian writer Vladimir Nabokov left express intentions that any unfinished work should be destroyed upon his death. Following his passing in 1977, his final book, the original of Laura, wasn't destroyed, but held in a bank vault that his son deliberated whether to publish it. In 2009, it finally saw the light of day. A fragmented novel concerned with aging and the complexities of love, literary figures despaired that the man behind the classic Lolita should not have had his final wish honored. So that's always tricky, too, because, like we were talking about with Crichton, no way did he want us to read Pirate's Latitude. So there's always that debate, whether to put it out there so that people can see, or to just keep it tucked away as it was meant to be. And it looks like Nabokov probably would have preferred that it be tucked away. But probably, most definitely.
Right. All right, so The Love of the Last Tycoon by F. Scott Fitzgerald. So, let's see. He's on the fringes of Hollywood. He thought he found such work below him, but he obviously provided him with this book. So, it's an account of Irving Thalberg, who's a movie mogul, but I don't know who he is.
Me neither.
So he's going to write 31 chapters, and he only wrote 17. So, because he died in 1940.
And it was eventually published.
Yes.
Edited by his friend Edmund Wilson.
Yes.
Published the year after his death. Do you like The Great Gatsby?
I didn't like the book.
Okay.
Or the movie.
Okay.
What's his face?
Leo?
Yeah, I didn't care for that either.
Have you read other F. Scott Fitzgerald books?
I have not.
Okay.
So, it was fine. My wife loves the book.
Oh, okay.
So
it seems to be a polarizing book, like not a lot of people who are like, it was fine. Like either you love it or you hate it. Mark Twain, good old Mark Twain. He's next on our list here with The Mysterious Stranger. Mark Twain's autobiography is huge. Have you seen that? It's like a giant, massive,
yes,
multi-volume thing, which he'd written and had like locked away with express like written sayings that it could not be published 100 years after his death, because I think he's pretty frank about like people and things, and didn't want it coming out. So that's a case where his wishes actually were, what's the word?
Honored?
Respected. Yeah, honored. Yeah. And it did come out 100 years later.
Okay.
I tried to read it and
no.
I didn't get
no
it.
good.
But The Mysterious Stranger by Mark Twain. Mark Twain had worked on 3 versions of this novel by the time he died in 1910. Unfortunately, none were finished. However, one theme that underpinned all 3 attempts was Twain's caustic attacks on the failings of organized religion. 6 years after his death, a version was published, but seems to have clumsily pieced together bits of the different versions. Like the film Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Twain, who was endlessly debated during his lifetime, has continually poured over in death. So sounds like The Mysterious Stranger was not a successful closing of that book. I can't imagine that working, taking scraps of alternate versions.
Yeah. Why did you take the next one, too?
I will, and I know why you want me to take the next one, because it involves a good friend of mine, the mustachioed Robert B. Parker. Philip Marlowe, which is, Robert Parker actually had one of his books completed by his longtime editor, Helen Branch, I want to say, a Spencer book that he'd been working on when he died. And after Ace Atkins took over Spencer, this last scrap of Parker work was finished by his editor and did come out. So he's both been someone who finished someone else's book and had his book finished by someone else. Robert B. Parker picked up where Raymond Chandler left off in a book called Poodle Springs. Philip Marlowe is one of literature's most enduring figures, a tough, complicated, and brooding detective. He has a gift for the cinema age.
This isn't the Thinning the Turking Herd.
No, different.
Okay.
As portrayed memorably by Humphrey Bogart. Created by Raymond Chandler, Marlowe was stepping out for his 8th novel when Chandler died in 1959. However, to mark the 100th anniversary of his birth, contemporary crime writer Robert B. Parker, with the blessing of the Chandler estate, completed the novel based upon the 4 chapters of hard-boiled prose Chandler wrote. Parker's really, he's a perfect choice for that kind of thing. That style, the sparse and the saying a little to say a lot. That's a classic of like the noir age. So I think those styles mesh really well together. And actually, I happen to know he continued. He didn't just finish this one. He wrote at least one more Philip Marlowe book. So he continued the tradition even past the one that he finished.
Okay.
You're up.
Where of Hermiston?
That sounds right.
Yeah. This is by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Have you ever read Treasure Island?
No.
I love the story, especially Tim Curry and Gonzo are in it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think I've ever actually sat down and like read the book. I know I've read the illustrated classic.
I didn't even read the illustrated
Didn't
classic,
you?
no.
Man, I love illustrated classics.
So this was supposed to be his masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's an epic novel set during the Napoleonic Wars at the beginning of the 19th century. It's focused on the travels of Archie Ware. It touches upon the tragic effects of conflict with the family, love, and social commentary. Not pirates and buried treasure. So I don't know when this was released, though. It doesn't have a date.
Oh, maybe it wasn't. It might not necessarily
Oh.
have actually come out. I mean, I think there are times when cooler heads prevail. Though it seems like often with that sort of thing, they're put in some sort of...
Originally published 1896.
Oh, okay. So it did.
Yeah.
Just came out as unfinished, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yep.
That can happen sometimes. Like they'll put together, usually it's like a scholarly kind of look at unfinished works and stuff. So it could be something along those lines. But I guess I've never read any Robert Louis Stevenson aside from illustrated classics, which I think for this
For some
purpose
reason, I thought
do
he
not
wrote.
count.
He did write Dr. Jekyll, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So
yeah.
I read that.
Oh, okay.
So
Is the book good?
the second half is
Not the first half.
Not
Is Russell
particularly.
Crowe in it?
yes, actually, yeah.
Written
Yeah.
as Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next, Henry James on the list, The Ivory Tower. The creation of modern America towards
People
the
in
end
ivory
of the...
towers shouldn't throw.
Ivory.
Yeah,
You really shouldn't be messing.
you shouldn't be collecting
I
ivory.
don't think that's
Yeah.
gone out of
Elephants
fashion.
are not
That's
a
really
finite resource.
Yeah.
No, they are a finite. They're not an infinite resource.
Wow. I'm just going to isolate that piece of audio and say Eric Mickles thinks
Yeah.
elephants are... The creation of modern America towards the end of the 19th century was a rich source of material for novelists of the age, such as Henry James, one
Yeah,
would assume.
sure.
Henry James was one such writer. His books, drenched in realism and literary allusions, are now seen as fascinating critiques of the time. The Ivory Tower was one such book, a tale of unfathomable riches and the consequences of such wealth upon two families and the rising industrial classes.
Yeah.
It was left unfinished when James died in 1916, although it was published the following year. So, right out there.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
What are you gonna do?
I don't know.
I just realized as we're going through this is an episode of other people's top 10 lists.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is what we've become. In almost 100 episodes, we have devolved into just
Oh, my gosh.
number 8, The Garden of Eden by Ernest Hemingway.
Have you read Ernest Hemingway?
Yes, I read The Old Man and the Sea.
That's right, you did.
I was
because
trying
of
to
the Red Hot
I was
Chili
trying to
Peppers.
understand
Yeah.
why Chili Peppers were called. Why Anthony Kiedis was calling, I assume, his son.
Yeah.
His Old Man in the Sea.
Yeah.
I don't understand it still.
Okay.
The book was fine.
Okay.
So
it's quick, right? I mean, that's like a
yeah,
novella.
he started Garden of Eden in 1946, but he didn't even have it done. He didn't finish it when he died 15 years later. So 15
Oh.
years he didn't finish this book.
So it was one.
And then 25
plagued him,
years,
apparently.
it didn't see. It was published 25 years later. It ran up to like 800 pages, and they cut it in pieces.
Oh.
And that made some Hemingway fans upset.
Yeah.
It's about a couple who honeymoon. I guess it doesn't matter where they honeymoon, but they fall for the beautiful Marita.
Uh-huh.
Thus,
Oh,
setting off a
both.
chain of destructive events.
Both members of the
Yeah.
couple fall for her. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that doesn't seem like one you'd want to chop up,
Yeah.
because it seems like the whole point is
Yeah.
the...
What would be the point?
Yeah.
He's not ever writing anything else.
Yep. All right. David Foster Wallace and the Pale King. Before he committed suicide, aged just 46 in 2008, David Foster Wallace was regarded as one of the brightest and most inventive voices in American fiction. His 1996 work, Infinite Jest, was acclaimed as a great American novel. I have not read that. Following year, he began work on the book that he would still be writing at the time of his death. A complex, multi-layered book that focuses on the human condition and the minutiae of daily life. The Pale King runs to 500 pages and was, according to Wallace, only a third finished. Yet after much editing, it was published in 2011. So they
Yeah.
must have just pared it down and
Yeah.
made
I feel
it
like I
stand on its own.
recognize. I feel like. Oh no, the Pale King was just the Pale Rider or something. Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey, our old friend Albert Camus.
Yeah, number 10, The First Man by Albert Camus. So he died in a car crash.
Yeah.
But he was working on The First Man. It was about his childhood in Algeria. Did I say that right? Algeria?
Algeria. Mhm.
Algeria? All right. It just dealt with here issues like colonialism, family relationships, and politics. And his daughter transcribed the manuscript and finished it in 1994. He died in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people, I'm surprised, are actually as contemporary as they are. 60s, F. Scott Fitzgerald died in 1940. That seems really early.
Yeah.
But you know what? Midnight in Paris takes place in the 40s, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or the 30s or something.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what do you think about it?
What?
Well, where do you come down on should you publish things?
Yeah.
You think you should?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
who cares? They're dead.
That's true. Well, what's to gain from it?
Just reading it.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, why pick up somebody's diary? Like, a lot of things we know because somebody wrote a diary. Like, we know a lot about, the Shackleton expedition.
Yeah.
Because the Shackleton kept a diary the whole time. Like, we just know about things in history because everybody kept a diary.
Yeah.
Should we publish diaries?
Yeah.
No, but then why are you writing a diary in the first place?
Interesting.
So, I don't know. It's just, I mean, we can't say, we should respect them, but, they were right. I don't know. They're gone.
I guess the danger would be a subpar work or a work that didn't really represent them. I mean, if you take Pirate Latitudes, okay, not to beat up on Pirate Latitudes because as we discussed in detail, I did enjoy it, but I think that the danger there, someone who doesn't know anything picks up Pirate's Latitudes and it's like, oh, I don't like this. I don't want to, this was a terrible book. Then they just don't read Michael Crichton because of that. I think there is a risk. I think that's something to consider. So I guess for me, I feel like I don't like when it's just tossed out there without any explanation.
See, but with Michael Crichton, I feel like that same person could have the same reaction if you gave him The Terminal Man, which is a second or third bigger hit, just because it's dated and
No, you're right. You're right.
I guess I don't.
I'm not saying that's a reason why you. It's not a definitive reason not to. It's just something to consider. I like when they do.
I don't think the authors would want it finished.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know.
Although sometimes, with the case of, say, Robert Jordan or something, where they, made arrangements, I think that's a totally different situation. But even something like, if you take Go Set a Watchman, for example, I mean, that came out when Harper Lee was still living, so it's kind of a different situation. But what bothered me most about the way that was put out was that there was no context for it.
Right.
There was no, forward or, I think when you're going to take something like that, and like any of these unfinished things, I think you have to do it. You have to present it in kind of a scholarly way, where you front load it with here are the circumstances to which this book was written and finished, and we're putting it out for this reason.
I think
that's an important step.
I don't think people finishing Drood.
Yeah,
I don't think they should do that. I think you should just publish it as it is.
Oh,
and just what's his name? Bruce Lee had an unfinished film when he died. But they still put it out. I think they might have tried to finish it, and that was a mistake. But I just feel I don't know, if a famous painter was painting something and he had half the canvas full and he was going to finish the rest of the canvas, you would still want to put that half canvas up just to be what?
Well, that famous portrait of Washington that's everywhere is unfinished.
And certain movies get put out even though maybe certain things didn't get finished. It just kind of seems Yes, it's more for academic purposes, I suppose.
Yeah.
Rather, maybe
I think the context is really important. So, if you're going to do that, you can't just be here it is.
But I almost feel Drood would be more interesting unfinished. Yeah. Because then it's just left to you, what would you have done?
Yeah. It might. I mean, that's one where I think they could have done something interesting where they put what is finished out there and then have a couple different options. Here are some ways this could have gone.
Yeah.
Or
I think commission 5 famous authors,
take a whack at ending it,
or bring back the choose your own adventure. with Drood, it's half of Drood, and then you start choosing your own adventure.
Yeah, to go to the water park, go to page what water
oh boy, park? Drood and I go to the water park. Oh, I drowned. Darn it!
I love it.
Shouldn't go down head first.
I say that I sort of am reluctant to do that, but I'm also sort of the first one to snatch them up when they do that.
You know what people don't? Nobody questions whether or not we should put out unreleased music, though.
That's true.
People, Prince has, a vault of unreleased... And people
Michael
just...
Jackson, same thing.
Yeah, but nobody's shouldn't we respect their... no, put all their music out there. If they suddenly discovered an unfinished John Lennon album, they'd put it out.
Yeah.
And you'd be so excited.
It's true, but I also think that they would, the context would be there. And, well, for example, I mean, the rest of the surviving Beatles did do that with when they put out the anthology thing.
Yeah.
They took John Lennon demos and then built songs around them so that they could do it. But that was, that ahead of time. So
It's probably because
we've had 2 posthumous Michael
writing
Jackson
is,
releases.
I mean, writing is going to be so much different than the rest of it.
Yeah.
Like, music is a performance
Yeah.
thing. Movies, it's a visual thing, so you're almost like just looking at like how it's done rather than maybe necessarily the end result of like the story and everything. But then with a book, it's very just like, I mean, books are such a process that's just a one person process. You know what I mean? Like, and to not have it finished, like, it's not like a movie where like other people might have known where the movie was going or had a script.
Right.
It's not like a song where you can just like, well, he finished at least one song. You know, if you don't finish a book, it's just not finished.
Right.
So
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So you're pro releasing.
I'm still pro releasing it.
Okay.
I don't necessarily. I mean, you're right. Like, it doesn't bring out good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we're not better Michael Crichton readers because we read Dragon Teeth.
Right.
But I mean, I guess if like with Michael Crichton, he's been dead since 2008 now.
Yeah.
Like, how many kids are actually picking up, Congo?
Yeah.
Anyway, so,
Not me. There's a bit with an eyeball early on, and I was like, oh, I can't handle it.
in Congo?
So I stopped. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
No. Well, it's there.
Okay.
Anyway,
But you don't feel so comfortable with it with books as I do.
I think it's a little irresponsible to just toss it out there and not tell people what they're getting.
Yeah.
So I think
You want
it's all about
the
how it's
author
handled.
as his dying breath to be like, it's okay, publish it.
No, I just want them to be clear about what it is that they're doing.
How do you feel? You know who we haven't talked about,
Tell me.
which is kind of crazy? Robert Jordan.
I talked about Robert Jordan. It's all right though. Go ahead.
You did?
Yeah, I said when Robert Jordan was dying, like he made
Yes,
really special.
right. Sorry.
That's all right. I mean, he made
must have
special
phased
plans and
yes.
like sort of picked an air and worked with that person.
Sorry,
So,
everybody.
I, mean,
I
that's-
must have phased
that's
out.
That's all right. You're
I'm sick.
So that's a different kind of
Yes.
situation.
But that's
So in
just
that
so
case,
much, though.
Yeah.
Do you think that's? I mean, if like Robert Jordan, he had just notes.
Yeah.
And
timelines and things.
Brendan Sanderson talked about like going through those. He's like, this is way more than Jordan probably realized he had.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's enough? Like if like Stephen King was dying and he just had like an outline of a book or like notes for like a series and then somebody else wrote it, do you feel like that's enough of the author in it?
Well, no,
have the
not
itis?
really. But I think like if you know that ahead of time, then you can kind of take it with a grain of salt and be like, what would it have been? They do that with like for a while there, like back. You remember like Andromeda, the TV show Andromeda?
Yeah.
For a while, it was like everything that what's the Star Trek guy's name? Gene Roddenberry. Like everything Gene Roddenberry wrote, they're like, we'll turn it into Gene Roddenberry's this.
Right.
And it was that kind of thing where they like take a little seed and they use that name recognition to make something out of it.
Yeah.
And the quality varies. So I think it's a tricky situation, and I think like the best way to handle it is to just be very upfront about what it is you have and what it is you're doing. So
What about a meal? What if a chef was
An
making
unfinished meal?
making you a meal,
Well-
and he had a heart attack in the middle of it, and another chef had to come in and finish the meal?
I'd be all right with that.
Really?
I feel bad for the guy's family, but like I gotta
Yeah.
eat. So,
Okay, but what it's his signature meal?
that's all right.
Okay.
I guess I would rather have that than they just bring out like an undercooked steak,
Yeah.
and raw eggs,
Or
consuming
make
raw
you
or
choose
undercooked
again.
eggs.
Like,
yeah,
have to
I don't
bring
wanna
out the
start
menu
all over
again.
Absolutely, I don't want to start all over again.
Okay.
Well, I think we covered most of our library news.
Yeah, I can't think
up
of
front, but
I can't think of any other like author that it was like a really big deal that it was being like Micro was pretty big.
yeah,
Tom Clancy, did he have unfinished work?
no, Tom Clancy.
He just created like a universe that people can
Yeah,
like if
I think that the difference with Tom Clancy was that he licensed his name pretty early on when he was still
Yeah, he
writing
was
by
smart.
himself.
was
Yeah,
smart.
so there's a lot of Tom Clancy books under the pseudonym David Michaels, which is no one.
Right.
It's just a rotation of authors.
Yeah.
But his books, he started writing with Mark Greaney, like
Right.
as he was getting to the end when he couldn't really do it himself anymore. So that was a more smooth transition.
Right.
So a little different. And unfinished, no.
No, he just put like a last one out. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, we found a missing Tom. I
Well,
feel like if there was
not yet.
I feel like if we do though, that would be very dated because
Yeah.
like he always tries to write like contemporary politics in his action. So like,
Yep.
it's 1987.
President George Herbert Walker Bush walks onto the scene. Yeah. Well, do you have any other?
87, is that when the Berlin Wall went down?
I don't know.
That'd be
That was the Reagan era. Do you have any other library news you want to get out here while we're? I think we covered it all.
No, yeah.
We hope you'll come to our.
It's all summer reading all the time.
That's
now.
right. We hope you come on Friday to our evening of one act plays.
It's already
Pretty
the third
exciting
week.
stuff.
Can you believe that?
I can.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I kind of shocked. As like kids come in, they get stickers and put it on a chart to show that
Week
they've
3,
been in.
Yeah.
And them putting it on the third week, I was like, it's already the third week.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yes. All
Exciting.
right. Yeah. The big night, Friday.
Friday the 14th,
What time again?
7:00.
But the reception.
Well, the reception isn't open to the public, so.
Ooh. If you're listening and you just heard that
Yes.
and you're coming,
That's right.
You should feel pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. 7. You're excited?
7:00. Yeah, I am. I think it's. I mean, we walk by those pictures in that playbill, like every day down
Yeah.
there. So I think it's kind of neat.
80
I like
years
to think
ago.
about, like, to be those people in that original cast or something. You think about like plays we've done together, like somebody being like, "Oh, let's revive this thing that they did 80 years ago." I think it's a nice tribute to the history of the library, but also like those people who
You think it's going to happen with us?
Yeah.
Like 80 years from now, somebody's like,
Star Spangled Girl.
I got to start a teen anime club
Yeah.
in the vein of
the Eric
one-
Mickles Teen Anime Club. It's very possible.
I got to license out my name if I want
You
that
do.
to happen.
Yeah, you got to Clancy.
Anything that you haven't finished in life that you're afraid they're going to finish for you after you die?
Yeah, Time Fox, my childhood novel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. If you died today,
Yeah.
I'd write that for you.
You would finish Time Fox for me?
I feel like I'd have to start it because
Do you want to? I'm actually working with Maxine Pietro on.
Really?
finishing it up. Yeah.
That's
so
good.
yeah, we put our differences aside, and we're just trying to.
How are they?
It's all about the literature. How our differences?
No, I mean them as like working with them.
Maxine and
Yeah.
James Patterson.
No, just Maxine Pietro. I was working with Maxine.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah?
Yeah, she's a lot of fun. She's just taking the ball and running with it.
Okay.
So yeah.
So it was probably a little bit of butting heads when you had some
when I
authorial
had
input.
when I had a little bit of creative control. Yeah.
And she's
she
like, "What? You
didn't
want to
like
you
that.
want to
She
write?"
didn't like that. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to our fun-filled episode 99. We'll see you next week for the big 100th
Oh my
episode.
gosh, we're turning 100.
It's exciting.
Are you okay?
I am
Do you feel old?
a little bit.
100 weeks ago.
I know.
Can you? That's
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, that
Something-
means we're coming up on 2 years now. 104 is going to be our 2 full years of doing this. Isn't that crazy?
That can't be right.
It is.
4 episodes after next week will have been
2
I'm gonna
years.
sneeze.
Yeah, August.
All right.
August was the initial. Ooh, that was a beautiful
Sorry.
sneeze.
It
All
was
right,
a beautiful
We got to
sneeze.
get out of here. We'll see you next week for 100.